most startups are under the misconception that we will grow, we will scale, we will get business, and then we will focus on branding, and that becomes a secondary activity, eventually becoming an activity that is of the lowest priority until they realize that a lot of their what do you say, personal contacts or people who know people are exhausted, and they're like, now we need to reach the newer market and let's start branding now so it will work tomorrow. However, that's not how branding works. So, what is branding, and what should a typical approach be in general, irrespective of the industry? Um, if we can make this an interactive session, can you guys tell me if you know what logo this is?
Participants can put their responses in the chat box.
All right. I mean, okay, I'll just keep it more of a monologue. So, irrespective of the whole logo being seen or a partial logo, you would know that this is Coca Cola because we have seen it so often and it is such an old brand. How about this one? Even if I show the incomplete logo, you will definitely know that it is McDonald's. We've probably been here, we've probably had it, or we've seen ads. It's a very popular brand in India. Now, how about this one? There is no need for us to own a brand to know the brand. That's the next level of branding, where you don't just market to people who you think will buy your product, but in general your marketing is so good, your branding is so good that people, irrespective of owning your brand or hoping to own your brand, will know about your brand. And whether I rotate this logo, whether I put it in any form, you will still know that this is Audi. Right now, let's try a slightly different approach. Okay, now if someone has a headache, or if you have a headache, there are very few first top three, four, five brands that come to your mind, and I think that these are few of those. That is how they have marketed. You have not marketed the brand that, hey, think of this brand when you have headache. That's not how you've done it. You've touched their pain point, and when you've touched their pain point, all of these, if you see, Jandu Bombs used in a song, Saridon, Sirfek Saridon, or Sardar Se Aram, the way they have crafted their ad campaign, the amount of thought that goes into the color of the bottle, or the font that's supposed to be used, or the name, the logo, is there is a world beyond it. So that to you is branding. That's what branding is. When you don't just, you think of, when there's a problem, the first brand that comes to your mind is what branding is. You don't constantly have a headache, but when you get a headache, which brand do you think about? Right? So, I am Monisha Mudliar. I've been doing this for 8 years now, and I work with different brands, several brands across. Each brand has nothing to do with each other. My clientele is pretty diverse, and I very recently started as an independent consultant because I felt it's unfair for other brands when I am providing my services only to one brand. And well, yeah, social media marketing is something that I'm very enthusiastic about. Also, public relations is something that I've been doing for the past 10 years. Content strategy, brand positioning, marketing communications. I am an engineer, software engineer with a master's in engineering management, which I did in the US and then moved back to India. Um, Now, let's talk about branding in agri-tech. So, this is how I typically approach any branding assignment that's given to me. First, you identify what the problem statement is. What is your problem statement? What are you solving? Why did you decide to choose this product? Why did you decide to make this product? Why did you find this product? Right? And now, before you start any branding activity, by that I mean saying something about your product in public, talking to your friends about your product, first define what your target group is going to be. Because while Audi is something for everybody, their target group is very, it's niche, it's very thin, right? So what, because based on that your messaging will change, based on that your logo will change. Do you want something super fancy? Do you want to do something like Audi or BMW and not say what the brand is in the logo? Agritech is such a new, I'm sure there are several brands already in the market that have been doing this for a really long time. But for a brand where there is not much awareness, what is the problem that you are solving? Why are you coming in? Why shouldn't anybody do it the conventional way? And why should they choose tech? Why should they choose an intervention of tech in in the agricultural segment? Define all of these things before you start any branding activity as such. There are very few but prerequisites for an effective branding strategy, and the number one being the brand identity. Right, you need to know what the mission is, what the vision is, what are your values, what are the values of the brand, and then you develop a tagline. The example that I took of Saradon, Sirfex Saradon and Sardat Siaram, it's a tablet. We don't know what the drug is. We just know the brand name. The drug could be something completely different that has nothing, no connection to Saradon, right? And you have a nice tagline to it that actually tells people what the product is. Anyone, say even a potential client of yours, might not necessarily know uh, a fancy way in which they are doing their conventional suppose you're challenging their conventional ways, you're bringing a disruption into their conventional ways and saying, here's a solution, this is amazing for you. But you will not have so much time, you will not have a whole story to tell, right? That your logo should do that for you, your tagline should do that for you. Even if they see it once, it should register. And consistent brand messaging, you have to keep driving this in order to increase the brand recall. So if someone sees your logo once, they see it twice, they see it thrice, it should not say different things every single time. It should probably say the same thing but in different ways, so that every time a person sees it, it keeps registering as the exact same messaging. And the brand, the logo, and the messaging should all be in line. Your visual identity, which is the third on the list, is also very important, because while we might think that, I have worked with founders who have said that I don't understand how using blue in this creative would make any impact at all. And I do definitely understand where they're coming from. But the choice of colors, the choice of your font, who is your target audience? Are they someone who are fancy, who are quirky, who understand quirky content, or do they prefer a regular Poppins font? Is that something that is, they want something that is easy to read? They don't want anything fancy, they just want to give you the direct messaging. Once you identify that, your visual identity, the brand guidelines that you define for your brand, can depend largely on that. And same thing, that should be across. Now if I see a Zomato ad, I will know it's a Zomato ad even if it is not placed inside of the app. It can be placed, it can be placed anywhere on a hoarding, or because they ensure the exact same visual identity everywhere, unless they've rebranded, and then they start trying to increase that recall in our head. And you tell your brand story, why, the why behind everything that you do. Everybody enjoys when the brand has a little bit of personality, right? So if you're just saying, hi, listen, I do this, hi, here's a pen for you, nobody wants just a pen. There's so many brands that are doing just a pen. You want a story, you want an emotional touch to it, you want something that you can relate to. Why? Either the design is exceptional and amazing, but for a founder, for a startup founder, you need to tell people the story behind the why of the existence of your brand. And that will definitely go a long way, because it becomes a hook also as such, because they would not just want to know how much your product is selling, but as an individual who has nothing to do with your business but could be a potential or an existing client, he or she would definitely want to know that, how are you evolving as a founder, as a startup entrepreneur? What are you doing? Are you also growing? Are you taking this vision and doing something else out of it? People become hooked, people become glued, and they would want to know more, right? And this is also one thing that most founders have absolutely no time for. Like I touched upon when I just started, that this becomes something that is lowest on the priority. So social media marketing, right? By social media, I mean, firstly, every brand needs to follow an omni-channel approach. You can't put the exact same thing on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn. You need to understand how your customers or viewers or followers consume data on that particular app. And if you want to say the exact same thing, say the exact same thing, but deliver it, package it in a different way when it comes to every single app, right? So social media marketing basically gets the word out. Do I want to buy an AC right now? I don't. But if someone's doing an ad and I looked up something remotely close to how to reduce the temperature of my room, and or like best fans, and I'm getting AC ads because of the SEO, or I'm getting I'm a part of someone's lookalike campaign because of something that I looked up. Social media marketing is where you can get the word. It not just customer engagement, right? Like now if someone likes something about your product, they will either like it or they will ask you more questions, or that is the easiest portal for someone to come and say, hey, I think this is interesting, can you tell me more? Or even feedback for that matter. Do you want your, whether you're a small scale or a large scale, you always want to know what your customers think. You always want to know whether they're liking the product, is there something that you can make better from your product. And social media is one of the easiest places for them to come to you, because it will reach you sooner than a phone call where a customer service agent is going to put them on hold and wait. So this makes it feel more, you just become very accessible to them, and that's what customers want. They don't want the seller to go missing as soon as they purchase something and have a problem with it, or even for that matter want to make more purchases. This is a very easy way, or want to know more about your product. Are there more innovations? Are you doing something new? And it definitely builds credibility. In today's day, back in the day, if you hear about something, the only way for you to validate it is go to someone else you know and be like, hey, have you heard of this product? Someone was telling me about it, do you think it's nice? And that person will only tell you based on his or her experience. However, today, if you meet someone, the first thing that you do, you look them up on Instagram. If it's a professional connection, you look them up on LinkedIn. If it is a brand that you're interested in, you first do a simple Google search. And when someone does a Google search, when someone tries to look you up online and you have no trace of being online at all, that immediately drops your credibility, and they will probably look for another competitor whom they can find something online that will help their decision making. So, and it definitely helps you leverage content. It will help you to leverage this content to educate your customers about your brand. It need not happen today. I might not have the need today. I might have the need probably tomorrow, day after, a year later, but you should stay in my brain. You're not trying to convert somebody today. You're trying to have constant, continuous business. And sometimes I might not be your client also. If I see a post of yours, I might not be your client, but someone whom I know might be someone who could use your brand. So that's why it is very important to be present online, and also like get the word out, let people keep seeing what you're doing, so that whenever the need arises, you're there somewhere in their head and they know where to come and see. But if this becomes your low priority, then all the business that you will be doing will be with only people whom you directly know, and we have come way far from that. We've evolved a lot more from that. Now, a startup, if you want your startups to scale, like this is what I tell most people, that few people need branding, few brands need branding, a few brands need branding pro max, because you need to treat it as a core activity if you want it to give you returns. You need to treat branding, you need to keep telling people about your product. You need to be the first person to like the post that you post. You need to be the first, your employees need to be the first person to be like, hey, you know what, this is what my company is doing here, and send it across. You put random WhatsApp statuses of stupid quotes and stuff all the time, but do you do that for your brand? Do your employees do it for your brand? Not necessarily, and not always. And there are several ways in which branding can be leveraged in order to benefit you in your sales. So branding is an activity that is passive and that needs to go on in the background. It is more of a supporting activity to your sales. You can't be like, here's your branding budget, give me so much sales. That is like looking at an animated movie and asking for a unicorn because you think it exists. uh, while it might in some places, in some imaginations, but to be very honest, if you want branding to work for you, you need to work on your branding. That will eventually drive your sales, right? So, well, I've spoken so much about it, and best conversations happen with the founders mostly, and with someone who's a branding enthusiast. So if I've confused you enough, or if I've given you enough food for thought, and you'd like to discuss more about how branding can help your brand grow, or help you get better at your business, then get in touch with me.
Yeah,
That's for now from my end.
thank you so much, Monisha. I can say it's a very crisp and a very short but very informative session, I can say.
Thank
Uh,
you.
what I like it from the startup point of view, that the startup should relate their things with the problem statements and the target groups from which they are providing the solutions to the maybe farmers or maybe their customers, and your brand should be theme based on these points. And you rightly mentioned that the branding is all about the storytelling, how you're actually telling your story through your brand. That makes
Yeah.
sense to and scaling your company. So I hope with these pointers, there will be different questions will be there from the participants end. So I request participants kindly put your questions in the chat box, or you may raise the hands that we will take up after the second speaker session. So with this, we thank you to Monisha and we welcome our next speaker. Ms.
Thank you.
Usha will introduce to Dr. Rima.
Yeah, thank you, Amit, and good morning, all of you once again. As we complete the first session and enter into the second session of our 195th webinar today, I introduce Dr. Rima Chaurasia, who has vast experience of working as an assistant professor at various universities such as MS University, Delhi University, and GB Pant University of Agriculture and Technology. So, alongside her teaching, Dr. Rima has been actively engaged in research projects at various conferences also. And her expertise mainly include resource management, ergonomics, personal finance, branding, consumer studies, financial literacy, environmental auditing, and craft. With this short introduction, I welcome you, Dr. Rima. Handing over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Usha, to introduce me to all the viewers. And good morning, everyone, the organizer, the speaker, and the listeners. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak about branding. And I was really thrilled to know that you have given me this topic. So, before I go ahead, I would like you people to, contemplate on certain things. Like, why are we talking about branding over here? When we say that we are an agricultural economy and we are so much depending on it, and there are not only agricultural products we are depending, there are certain allied products also that are related to the agricultural products only. So why are we talking about this branding over here? Because agriculture was never a business for us. It was there for our day to day life. We were never thinking about this as a business. But now, today, in this competitive world, we need to know that we need to make a brand of whatever we are selling. If we are not able to make a brand, we will not be able to sell our product. So here, Manisha has already thrown a lot of light on branding, that what the branding is. But still, when I say that Tata and Audi and all the logos that Monisha has shown to you, they have certain influence on you. Like a day before yesterday, I ordered some grocery. I was ordering some grocery on Zapto actually. So there were certain brands that were known to me, and I was, very much sure that I will be ordering from them only. But later, when I looked down, I found out certain brands whom I was not, I have never listened about it. So I was reluctant, though the price was very low. It was half of what was, other brands were selling off. So why was I reluctant? Because they did not brand themselves. So we need to brand ourselves very well so that consumer must know what are we. When we talk about brand, what the term comes, what is the thing that comes into the mind? We talk about a logo, we talk about a number, we talk about a vision, but actually, it is the value that you are selling to. When we talk about Tata, we know that what kind of watch we are, Titan, we know that what kind of watch we are going to get if we are going to buy. So why don't we go in agriculture to brand itself so that the consumer is, is not reluctant to buy, they are ready to buy whatever we are selling. So here is my first slide. In the competitive world of agriculture, effective branding plays a crucial role in driving success. This presentation that I'm giving to you will explore the impact of branding strategies on agricultural businesses and offer insights into leveraging branding for growth and sustainability. Second slide, please. Next. So let me help you to understand the branding. Effective branding goes beyond a logo or name. As I said, that when you see a logo, that logo is nothing. It is a feel that that logo is giving to you. So you have to bring that feel to your product. So when you are bringing that feel to the product or to your brand, the consumer is there in the market to buy your product. It encompasses the value, mission, and the unique selling proposition of a business. This is very important while you are defining your brand, your values, the vision, and the mission that you are writing for your business are very important. You need to have a unique selling proposition. And I understand that here we are talking to the startup people. So you have to have a unique selling proposition that no one else is offering. Otherwise, your product is same as the other products are there in the market. So you need to know that how can I offer something different to the consumer so that consumer is, really ready to buy that. In agriculture, branding helps to create a distinct identity and builds trust among consumers and stakeholders. Next slide, please. When we talk about branding strategies, strategic branding involves consistent messaging, visual elements, and customer experiences. So here, this Munisha was talking about, Zomato. So why the Zomato is giving its services? Why the Zomato ad we can see everywhere? Why still, when we know about Amul, when we know about Tata, when we know about Audi, we are finding their advertisements everywhere, whether it is a billboard or you can say the media, whichever media you can think about, we can still see their ads everywhere. Why? They have established themselves in the market. That is fine. But still, they do not want their consumers to forget about themselves. Every day there are number of brands that are coming in the market. There are number of businesses that are launched in the market. So if every business that is being launched in the market will be there, then who will think about Tata? Because these new businesses do offer very less price, they offer number of things. So what, we have to be visible to the consumers. So if we are consistent in our messaging to the consumers, then the consumer will think about us every day. As I was talking to you about Zepto, I am, whether I'm buying something from Zepto or not every day, but I'm getting messages from Zepto every day. And these are, very personal messages that are attached. So here we can say that visual elements are very important. The consistent messaging is very important, and the customer experience that we build through brand. One is that we have passed our message that this is what we are selling. This is how we are selling. We are passing our values to the customer. But secondly, we have to provide a good experience to the customer so that customer, he himself becomes, an advertisement for us. Through the word of mouth, people talk to each other. They talk about the brand to each other. We women, we talk a lot. We bought a Zara apparel. It was very nice. So Zara itself was advertised. So talk of the, word of the mouth is a very important advertisement that we are doing. We are branding our business. In agriculture, storytelling, sustainable practices, and product quality are key components of successful branding strategies. So every day we are hearing this thing in the market that, the organic, this is the organic products, no pesticide is being used. So when we say that all these pesticides are not, is we are not very sure. So it is very essential that we make a good experience for the customer. Customer must feel that he or she is getting that organic product. So organic products, when we talk about, this is unpolished, this is organic product, no pesticide is used, no hormones is used. So these all are the different strategies that are being used by the brands to sell their product. Next slide, please. Building consumer trust. A strong brand instills confidence in the consumers by demonstrating reliability, transparency, and commitment to the quality. And this is very important. When we are selling our products to the consumers, the consumers, once they buy, and if they get good experience, they will go for the second buy. But certain times there are problems. There are problems in delivering, there are problems, in receiving. There could be anything. So if there are certain things, there must be transparency. The customer must feel that whenever he is putting forward his problem to the brand is taking care of it. He must feel that it is reliable. Every time when when you order to the Zomato and the food that you are receiving is not good enough, you just message them. The help messenger will tell you that they are going to resolve your problem. So certain kind of brands, they give such experience to the customer, and within few minutes or in 10 days, they will tell you that in 24 to 48 hours your problems will be solved, and that messenger will speak to you, will talk to you, and somewhere they will connect to you, and that your problem will be solved. So that helps in demonstrating reliability amongst the consumer. In agriculture, transparent practices, certifications, and community engagement contribute to building consumer trust. And this is very important. Recently, I have one experience. I had been to one place. We just went for a vacation. That particular place, they were selling those indigenous products that were grown over there only. They were using in their hotel the same product they were growing. So all the products that we were eating, the fruits they were giving to us, everything was produced over there. So there we knew this thing very well, that all the community is being engaged in the business, and they are growing everything over there. They showed us their the farm, their field, and they were using that produce only. So it built trust in us. So community engagement, when we could see that the people who were working over there are from that particular area only, that helped us to build a trust. And so you people also supposed to bring that trust to the consumer. Next slide, please. Next slide. So expanding market reach, another thing. Effective branding in agriculture opens door to new markets and opportunities by creating a compelling brand story and identity. Agricultural business can expand their reach and attract diverse consumer segments. So here we know that when we talk about agriculture product, it is not about the only produce that is from the farm or the field. There are different categories over here. These are the products from the farms, the processed products, the products that we get from the allied activities, then the products are converted into something else, maybe by the community itself. They convert it into a pickle or a papad or something like that. So there are different segments, and for the different segments, we are having different consumers also. We can have consumer from a small child to an elderly. So we can have different reach. We can reach to the consumer in the different segments. So we need to know that we have to expand our market reach. It is not only one way that we are reaching to the market. There are different ways to the reach to the market, and those ways we need to find out depending on the kind of product we are selling. Next slide, please. Now, if I want to conclude the whole thing that I've talked about, that branding is a powerful tool that can elevate agricultural businesses to new heights and success by understanding the impact of branding and implementing effective strategies that Manisha has, very rightly talked about. And I've also talked about this. Farmers and agri businesses can cultivate a strong and enduring market presence. Next slide. With this, I thank everybody to listen to me patiently. If you have any question, you can either mail to me or you can ask over here. This is my mobile number and this is my mail ID if you have any question. Over to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Rima. I would say it's a really informative session for all the startups and the participants. And you rightly mentioned that branding is for the better reach, and of course, it is for the better growth of the company itself and for the consumers. And you mentioned and you talked about the different strategies, that in what way the startups can reach to their ultimate targeted customers, and how the startups can build a trust to keep that transparency between the manufacturer and between the consumers. And I can see there are very relevant questions also there in the chat box that we will take up. But again, I request to all the participants, this platform is now open to take up the questions. So you can raise the hands to directly ask the questions to the speakers, or you may put into the chat box. So I have noted few questions. Let me start with the one question which is actually come from the uh, Hiremat, and one is from the Pranab as well. In the same way, that what could be the ideal budget for the any kind of branding if they are looking for their business, and is there is any thumb rule that out of 100% of the budget, how much they will should spend on their branding part? Maybe Dr. Rima or Monisha, you can take up this question.
I think Monisha can answer this better.
Sure. So, well, to be very honest, the branding budget purely depends on the founder, right? How much they are willing to set aside. Because, like I said, they treat this as a low priority activity. So, what happens is they set really least low budgets and expect a lot of return. So, like I said earlier, the more that you work on branding, the more the branding will work for you. So, if you ask me for a set budget, uh, I can't give you, there is no thumb rule because it depends on your target audience. It depends on how much stock you have that you want to sell, or how much money you have invested. Do you want to make so and so by the end of an year, or what are you doing branding for basically? Are you doing branding just to increase awareness, or are you doing branding for investor relations? If you're doing it to get more investors, then the places that you spend will change. Branding is not a small thing. From, like I said, how we spoke about basic things like having your logo, having your this, that is all internal. When it goes external, it has very vast implications. PR becomes branding, social media becomes branding, your media buying becomes branding. Are you doing any offline activities? Those also become a part of branding. So there's no set number as such, it's just how much you want to do. If you're willing to set aside that amount, then based on your strategy, you can spend as much as or as low as you want.
Yeah, very
Question
true.
we may rephrase. Amit, maybe what is the basic low level you start, Manisha, when you are branding?
Yeah,
Suppose you want to brand some startup, how much you expect?
Yeah.
Lowest price
sure.
for doing at least minimum work, something
Lowest
like
price, as in, see, like I said, internal branding, that does not come at any cost, right? Are you doing ads, are you doing ad spends, etc.? I think you can start as low as even 5-6 thousand and go up to, like, I would say anywhere in the range of at least like a minimum of 10-20 thousand per month would be, this is bare minimum because you asked me bare minimum, but people spend in lakhs and crores, of course. But like I said, are you doing it for customer acquisition? Are you doing it for depends on your objective also, because then that way you can also measure your results. Is branding even working, you know? So if your objective is defined and if your target is defined, then you can define the budget. It's more of a reverse approach than how much money do you have, let's spend. Start with the objective and then decide how much money do I need to set aside.
Yeah, very true, Monisha. That's what we got to know, that before you started your promotional campaigns, you should be clear with the objectives of the
Yeah.
campaign and who is the target audience and the channels through which you want to do the promotion. But
Yeah.
still, I'll take this question little ahead. Maybe a startup, as you know, they're struggling with funds and they have very small funds to allocate. So, is there is any platforms or tools there with the minimum cost they can promote their brands or the products very in a in a whatever the existing sources are there? If you can suggest little few
Sure.
platforms,
What
startups.
everybody has access to, absolutely everybody, is Meta ads and Google ads. So this every single person has access to. You just need to have your account and you just need to know. That is where experts come in. Like, that is where a subject matter expert can come in and be like, you know what, if this is what your marketing collateral is, if this is what your material is, if this is what you want to communicate in the public, then let me tell you where to put it, right? So what most founders think is, I got it, like, I know what I'm doing, right? Like, I will tell you where to put the money. But when that happens is when you start seeing all these things failing for you instead of working in your favor. So the tools are, like I said, like YouTube ads, Meta ads, Google ads, all these things are really easy ways to get the word out there. But you will need an expert to help you do achieve all those things for you.
Yeah, thank
In
you. I think
addition to this, I would like to
yeah.
give you one example. The other day, I was watching, Shark Tank. The niche hair owner She started this business during the pandemic time, and she
Yeah.
started promoting her product on the Instagram only. And now today she's earning like anyone. So that can work for some businesses, but not that is not true for all. But of course, if one wants to start with the branding thing, one can start from here. And this is, the zero investment from where you can start
Yeah.
about the brand.
That is the social media
People will
marketing aspect.
start knowing about you, that you are there in the
True.
market, you are existing in the market. So that is how you can start with.
Definitely, ma'am. This insights will really going to be helpful to all the
What
participants.
I also was mentioning is, apart from the content, leveraging your personal platform, ads, like you will need to do specific ads. Like there'll be ad campaigns. Meta has an ad tool, Google has an ad tool. So apart from leveraging your social media, which is definitely an easiest way, if you catch on, you catch on. If you get viral, you get viral. Niche Hair, like you're saying, she is also mentioning how she has even gone door to door and taken her products door to door. So that is also branding only, that is also marketing, sales marketing in a different way, like door to door conventional way. But because now, see, now all of us need not be sitting in the exact same place for this. You use LinkedIn to tell people about your webinar. There's a webinar, here's the link, easy. You can do the exact same thing for your product also, if you have fair enough reach. If you don't have the reach, create a lookalike campaign. Who are the people looking for agri tech? Take that and send it to those people, disseminate it to those people. Email marketing is another way, but you need to have that database. If you have the database, email marketing is super conventional, super old school. Most people think it doesn't work, but it kind of does. So yeah.
Right. I think Pranav got very so many insights from this convocation. Let me allow some speakers. These participants has raised hand, so I can just go with the Deepak Kumar has raised his hand. Deepak, can you hear me? To ask the questions to the speaker.
Yeah, good morning to all.
Uh,
Am I audible?
yeah, Deepak, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So basically, this question is to Miss Munisha ma'am. So I'm having three questions. So first question is like, if a brand has multiple different target audiences, it's so how a brand can be developed and maintained relevant to all these audiences sets. So this is my first question. And coming to second one, like like after establishing a brand, even like we'll be adding new target audience sets in future days as well. So then again, how we need to upgrade our branding to new target audience sets kind of things. And yeah, final thing is branding really works for target audiences like farmers? So these are the three things. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
Deepak.
you.
I will try to answer all of them in random order. So, if you talk about target audience being different, to be honest, uh, every brand has a problem. You can't say that my product, maybe you can, like niche hair. I don't know if we're making that reference, but I don't know if most of you are aware of that brand. It is wigs. It's fake hair, clip on wigs, extensions, and stuff like that. That's the brand that we're talking about. That has a niche. That is like probably only women or probably only men who are experiencing hair fall or who would like a little more volume. That. But if you go to a very random brand, uh, depends on. Can you give me an example, actually, Deepak? Let's work that way so my answer can be more specific. If you say my target audience is
Yeah, sure.
different, then I've.
So currently, I'm being a digital marketer in a agri drone, company. So here, our target audiences will be like farmers, and second thing is agriculture graduates who are establishing, agri service providers, drone service providers,
Okay.
and third thing can be like drone manufacturers or drone service providers who can purchase our drone parts as accessories and assemble by themselves, and also partners like FPOs and other private partners,
Got
fertilizers
it.
companies, kind of things.
Got it, got it. Okay, so in this specific case, what would typically happen is your messaging that you create for every single target audience needs to be different. Because you asked me also if branding truly does work for farmers. We pride ourselves on being digital India right now. So, how many of you are actually going to the newspaper for news, and how many of you have followed pages of news channels or followed a reporter who just writes a digest and look at it that way? Or get push notifications from newspaper ads or publication ads to get information. So while there is a set of people who are still like, I need to read the newspaper, I think a lot of them have moved on. So a few brands that I work for, one of the brands, the audience is people who are assumed as non-techies, but right now everyone's a techie. The vendor, vegetable vendor, he has a QR scanner and he has his phone. Everyone has a smartphone right now. Smartphone is not a specific, it's not a fancy thing anymore. It's like the norm. Everyone is having smartphones and everyone is constantly on, they're hooked on to any one of the entertainment apps. That can be an OTT channel, it can be YouTube, it can be it used to be TikTok, now it can be Instagram, it can be absolutely any of these channels, but everyone is hooked on somewhere. So now when we were speaking about budgets earlier, based on the budget, if you have really big budgets and you're willing to blow up, right? IPL, whole of the country is watching it. World Cup, whole of the country is watching it. You have crores set aside, you put your money there, you will get the eyeballs that you're looking for, right? And that is being watched by an auto driver, a kirana store person, a farmer, a young kid, a professional, everybody, a founder, an entrepreneur, everyone is watching that exact same channel. So that's what money can get. That's the place that money can get you to. But are farmers watching it? Okay, great idea. Do you think farmers are not? If they are not, can you do branding on say hoardings in villages? Can you create vernacular ads? Can you create, say it's a Telugu state, say it's a Tamil state, you will write the messaging in a Tamil language in a way that it's easy for them to consume. You will probably not do it if you think that smartphones are not, for everybody and these people are not looking there. You will do a newspaper ad. Are you doing it for the drone guys? You want to sell it to people who will probably help you in manufacturing it? You will do a newspaper article. So for you will not, your messaging for everything can't be, let me go to social media and just post it and people will see it. The farmer might not have a LinkedIn. The farmer might or might not have an Instagram, and even if he does have an Instagram, he might or might not follow your page, right? So you be in places. That's why you absolutely need to be in all places, so you're tapping on all markets. But if you have a smaller budget, your marketing needs to be super focused. You need to see what your competitors are already doing and what they're continuing to do. If they're continuing to do something, then that is definitely working for them, because nobody will keep putting money in a place. Competitor analysis is a basic. You need to start that before you do anything. So say you have a
I think
uh,
Monisha, we
yeah.
have a lot of Monisha. There are so many questions are there.
All right,
So
okay. Deepak, I hope I touched upon at
yeah,
least a few of your questions. While I might not be able to answer all, you can reach out
maybe
to me if
Deepak,
you have more
Deepak, you
questions.
can reach out to Monisha. The speaker's details we already shared in the chat box, but the point is very much clear to him that the same that budget, that objective of the ad campaigns and the channels. So I hope you got the answer. So there is a one more question, very interesting question is coming from the one of the international participants, that is the Onyogo George, and he's asking the question that brands introduced to the business is pigons and the competitions. What is your take here? Maybe Dr. Rima ma'am or Monica can answer this question.
Okay. Rima, would you like to take it or do you want me to take it?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, the brands introduced to business espionage and the competitions. What is your take here, ma'am? So basically, what we found out that the company A sent their employees to the company B, and they try to get the trade secrets or the strategy in that way. It creates the competitions. So in that way, what will be your take that they should do the promotions campaigns on in what way they can avoid such a things also?
See, I feel that this is the thing that is not only happening in agri businesses, that is happening everywhere. So when we want to take care of this, we should always be ready with such competitions, and we should always be having something new for our business. So the founder must be ready with the new ideas every time, whatever he wants to float in the market. So it's not only, you have launched the product and the thing is over. You are branding, you are doing everything, the thing is over. It doesn't over. You will have to work upon it day by day and every time, so that competitor doesn't get a whiff of this. That's what I would say about this.
Yeah.
Hello.
Monisha, you want to add something?
Yeah, one second. So, okay, so George, if they're doing it, I don't see a point why people who are not doing it are not doing it, right? So the only way for you to be better is for you to kill your competition. And if someone's doing something that is better than yours, find a way to adapt it or find a way to beat it by doing something even better. It's always difficult for, say, I have a business idea. It took me, say, 100 years to get to this idea. Now, if I constantly need to innovate, it's a lot of pressure on me too. So what I will do is I will try to at least sell the idea that I am better than my competitors. And the only way for me to do that is thorough research. So people are constantly always copying your ideas unless you have a patent or a copyright on it. It is going to happen. And even if you have it also, they can just probably get inspired and create something even better than yours. So just like rightly like Rima said, you need to keep innovating. But if you need to copy or if you need to kill your competition, I don't see, it's survival of the fittest. So I don't see that as something that is negative. Everyone does it. Even in the online world, they do it. Like I was talking about meta worlds, there's a meta ads library that everyone has access to. This is for everybody. If you have a business, if you say there's an XYZ brand, I want to look what ads these people are doing. Type meta ads library on Google and type that brand. You will see all the live ads of these brands, and you will know what kind of messaging they are trying to drive. And if it's a successful brand, you definitely must go and check it out, because you need to know what are they telling to people, that people are going to these people instead of going to their competitors or someone else. So I think you constantly need to keep doing competitor analysis, and it is actually a very smart thing to do as often as you can.
Yeah, I hope very to the point, George, you got the answer. Let me go to quickly. One of these participants has raised the hand, so I'm just going to unmute Kadri Mohan, sir. Sir, can you hear us? Do you have any question?
Hello.
Yes,
Audible?
sir, we can hear you.
Yeah. Sir, good morning, Savana, sir. I take this opportunity to introduce. I take a shot, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Welcome back,
Uh,
Dr. Kadri. Yeah.
yes, sir. I want to say hi to all my KP team. So from Monday onwards, I will be on track, sir. So regarding this branding, so normally the firms generate brands, but how possible the consumer generate the brands, and based on their experiences, other things in agri sector? Because so is there any examples? Maybe I want to know.
Maybe Dr. Rima, you want to take this question?
I'm sorry, Mr. Kadri, I have not understood your question. Like, what do you want to ask?
Yeah, ma'am. So normally the brands are generated by the firms. The
Right.
business firms generate for the products. So how possible that instead of firms, the consumers generate the brands? Are there any instances?
The recent experience of mine is Delight. You know, the Country
Yeah.
Delight, they are giving a good product. So the consumer is so happy that they are branding the business of Country Delight. So I can say that that is the one example that I've seen recently.
Monisha,
Mr.
you want
Kadri,
to
have
share
I
any?
answered your question?
Yes.
I think very true, ma'am, because it's a word of mouth spreading the example
Yeah.
we can see with the Country Delight. Monisha, you want to say any case study you came across with the people where they develop their brands?
See, everyone is sitting with an idea. Okay, so it's just about the little bit of nudge that they get, that they're able to do something about the idea. It's all the concerns that everyone probably on this call has. Where do I get my funds from? How do I start? What will my marketing cost be? Will I be able to sustain? Will I fail? So when anyone comes over, crosses all these things, they will, a person with an idea just needs to get beyond all these things and then start something. There are several. Rima ma'am was talking about Shark Tank. Look at how their ideas have come. They've been sitting on it for such a long time. They just need the courage to jump and take a leap and do it. And that only comes with a very well thought out plan and a background in business. But most of us are employees who are trying to jump on the entrepreneurship. So yeah.
I hope, Mohan sir, you got the answer. There is a very interesting question, maybe Dr. Rima can answer. Dr. DK Sharma is asking, is there is any government schemes or funding is available to do the better promotion and branding of their startup companies?
So there is, the Ministry of Agriculture. They are helping the customer, the consumers, or the people like you in branding and in everything. I would pass on the information. I think if you can connect me onto the mail, then I would pass on this information to you. This ministry is helping in all the sectors and on all the steps to the and entrepreneurs to carry out their business. So there are many government schemes that are actually hand holding the people who are starting their businesses.
Yeah, Sharma sir, we have shared the speaker's contact details, so you can get connect with the Dr. Rima ma'am. She will definitely try to connect with you few schemes of the government for your branding purpose.
Amit, you can highlight some funding from RKVY, others. No, it's a part of branding. They can use
Absolutely.
all the fundings, isn't it? Even state government funding, all. You can
Yeah.
highlight some becomes better. Yeah.
Along with Sharma sir that manage like us mini incubation centers, RKVY-RAFTAAR programs is running, where they will get the funding of for the ideation stage startups will get funding of 5 lakhs to 25 lakh rupees as well. Along with that, PMFME is also giving the funding for the promotion and branding under the program through incubation program. So to get more details, you can always reach to the manage and you can write to us also, where we can able to support you for the branding and marketing point of view. And you can always visit to our social media pages and the website where you will get the more clarity on that. So as time is very less, I'll quickly go to the one more question is hand raised is there. Raj Thakur is there. I'm just going to unmute him. Raj Thakur sir, you have any question?
हेलो, आवाज़ आ रही है मेरी सर आपको?
जी बोलिए सर, आपका क्वेश्चन।
ओके, ओके। तो एक्चुअली मैं अभी से थर्ड ईयर हॉर्टिकल्चर में हूँ और अपना एक स्टार्टअप स्टार्ट किया है एग्रीकल्चर में, एग्री मीडिया कंपनी। तो हमारा बेसिकली काम है स्टोरी टेलिंग एग्री स्टार्टअप्स की। तो
अच्छा
उसमें हम कैसे ब्रांडिंग अपनी कर सकते हैं? क्योंकि हम ऑलरेडी स्टोरी टेलिंग कर रहे हैं उस चीज़ की।
जी ठीक है, वी गॉट योर क्वेश्चन राज।
ठीक है। रीमा, वुड यू लाइक मी टू टेक इट?
Yeah, sure.
ओके, सो आप अभी कौन से प्लेटफॉर्म पे हो राज? यूट्यूब और दूसरे सोशल चैनल्स पे?
ये बेसिकली हम सारे हैं, लिंक्डइन पे तो सबसे ज़्यादा एक्टिव हैं, यूज़र्स भी हमारे लिंक्डइन पे सबसे ज़्यादा हैं और हमारी खुद की वेबसाइट भी है और हमारे ऑल जितने भी सोशल मीडिया हैंडल हैं, सब जगह हैं।
ठीक है, तो जब आप ब्रांडिंग की बात कर रहे हो तो आपको किस लिए चाहिए? आप चाहते हो कि आप ज़्यादा और एंटरप्रेन्योर से बात करें या फिर इनकी जो स्टोरी है वो ज़्यादा लोगों तक पहुँचे?
एक्चुअली में क्योंकि हमारा प्रोडक्ट जो है वो है स्टोरी टेलिंग, यहाँ कोई हमारा वैसा प्रोडक्ट
इंटरव्यू
नहीं है।
इंटरव्यू का आपका ये है अप्रोच?
हाँ, एक्चुअली में हम वर्कशॉप लेके आते हैं स्टार्टअप्स के साथ में, तो हम अपने इस ब्रांड में कैसे ब्रांडिंग कर सकते हैं? क्योंकि आप आज का जो टॉपिक था, तो उससे रिगार्डिंग मैंने एक क्वेश्चन पूछा कि हम कैसे अपने स्टार्टअप में ब्रांडिंग कर सकते हैं? क्योंकि हमारा काम है, तो स्टोरी टेलिंग में कैसे ब्रांडिंग कर सकते हैं?
राज, उसके लिए हमको ना थोड़ा 3 मिनट से ज़्यादा टाइम लगेगा, तो
ओके,
यू कैन रीच आउट टू मी डायरेक्टली या फिर आप
एब्सोल्युटली
मैनेज से पूछ सकते हो। मैनेज इज़ डूइंग सच अ गुड जॉब विथ
या
देयर वेबिनार्स एंड स्टफ, बट
राज इन
you can
फैक्ट
reach out to me directly and I'll be happy to help.
As like in fact the student entrepreneurs who are looking for the funding opportunities, such a things. Manage is doing 2 3 programs for that. One is
You guys are
to
also doing a
understand.
good job at your at a level in which you're conducting these things, so that itself is branding in itself.
Raj, Agri is one of the platform, but unfortunately the applications are closed. But still, you can get connect with the managed team. See where what is your business model. We can help you. And RKVY is now coming with the initiative that is where 4 lakh rupees for 4 students. Each incubation center can support. So up to 29 into 4, that number of students we can support under this Ministry of Agriculture project called RKVY-RAFTAAR. So get in touch with us to get more help on that. And even the students, entrepreneurs who join this webinar, they will get the help out of it. So as time is less, but I quickly take one more question with the permission of director sir, because it's really important questions and coming from the one of the international participants again from the George, that the false advertisement is a widespread in a competitive marketplace, and how do we protect to the consumers, because everyone is trying to saying that my product is best, my I'm doing this much of work. At the end, customers or the consumers are more important. So how we try to avoid that false advertisement or the branding, and how we can protect the interests of the consumer, that is the one question.
See, brands are not wrong in saying that their brands are good because they truly believe that the quality of their brand is good. I had just dropped a message on the chat box to answer this, but I'll quickly touch upon it and I'll pass it on to Rima. That consumer awareness is the only way that this can be done. The consumers need to know what's right and what's not, what's legit, what's not, what's authentic, what's not. Unless they know it, they will believe every single ad. Like we all believe every single Google review that we read, but we don't know that they're either paid for or it's a part of a collaboration or it's a marketing campaign. If you guys didn't know it, now you know it. Don't believe every review that you read, especially when you see a lot of reviews. If it's a mix of ones, twos, three, fours, fives, that's when it's authentic. If it's all ones and all fives, if the concentration is here, then it's not real. So the customers need to be aware of all this is also false branding. It's all false marketing because you're making people, you're either paying people or giving them your products for free to say good things about you. So the customer needs to know what to believe and what not to believe, and that will come with customer awareness. Rima, over to you.
So, what I can say over here that when we talk about false marketing, this the onus lies with the entrepreneur who is doing this. As I said in the beginning, that the branding is, what you show, that what your values are. You show, you actually exhibit your vision, mission, and your values to the customer, and the customer is believing you. So the customer awareness, as Monisha has said, is very much important. But as a brand, how you are establishing yourself, you will not win the market for a long time. If you are falsely giving your advertisement, if you are falsely branding yourself. So I would say that the company cannot do anything for themselves because they always feel that they are good. But the consumer must know what is good or what is not good. And when you are branding yourself, you must know that if your brand is at fault, then it will not survive in the market. That is all I can say.
Yeah, very true, Rima ji
I
and
have a quick
Monisha ji.
thing to add before we pass closing comments. Misho. What Misho has done is they have just owned that, you know what, we are selling bad quality products. You wear it once or twice, but it's really cheap. Would you rather wear this once or twice or go and buy something that is 100x this cost? So either if you talk about entrepreneur honesty, either they say that, you know what, we're just getting like subpar quality, but it's very cheap. Do you want it? Or you lie that, you know what, this is also amazing, it's just like the 2000 rupees one, but it's for 200 and we're giving it to you. They're not saying that, they're definitely accepting it's fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth copy maybe, but you will wear it once, take good pictures, and then throw it away. It's worth that. So and customers know it, consumers know that, you know what, this is going to be subpar, but they're willingly taking it. So that consumer awareness is important. Consumers knowing that I'm buying a subpar quality for a way lower price is important. So well,
Yeah,
yeah.
very true, Monisha ji. It's all about how you're communicating to consumers and how they are taking up. So still there
With
are few
one more
questions
want to
are
talk.
unanswered.
Himanshu want to ask question, I think.
Yeah,
One more. Yeah, he'll
right,
take.
right, sir. I'm just going to unmute him. Himanshu is put in the message also in the chat box. Himanshu, you can ask quickly your question.
Agriculture branding is different than corporate branding. I mean, what are the psychology or thoughts of farmers towards branding?
I think we touched upon that, no? Like, see, every brand definitely has a different story to tell. Rima, do you want to add? Because I think we touched
I
upon that.
just want to add this, that the branding is branding. It is not different for
Hmm.
corporate or the agriculture. It is, how you are making the consumer see yourself. So this is all I would like to add, that branding is always a branding. So if you want customers to know about yourself, you will be branding. So and when you are selling the product, you're not selling it to the farmers. The farmers are selling the products. So you have to make the brand to the consumers. And the consumers are not always the farmers. I think beyond that, you are selling.
Yeah, Himanshu, I hope you got the answer.
If
As
you say farmers also, Himanshu, uh, like we spoke about, you just need to be present in places where they are seeing. That's all. Branding is to be done. Like it's a thing that is ideally it needs to be done, or it will just be sitting in your factory or in the house or in your go down. So if you want to sell, you need people to know about your product just in places where they are seeing.
Yeah, Monisha, although it's a very unstoppable discussion and we can talk over the time and over the day, but time is constraint and hope still if there are few questions are unanswered, we can get in touch with the speakers. The details we already shared with the chat box and all we are going to share the email also with the PPT presentations and the contact details to all the participants. But before to close this webinar, I would request to everyone, all the participants, kindly fill the feedback form of the today's webinar, and do not forget to subscribe the next upcoming webinars where you can do the registration and get the joining links and the updated details about the managed programs which are planned in the next upcoming weeks. And do not forget to follow the managed social media pages as the today's topic is related to the branding. Kindly support us with the branding and liking the and subscribing our pages. So with this short note, I would like to say thanks both the speakers, Monisha and Dr. Rima, for a wonderful discussion about the branding and how the agri startups can develop their own brands, and all the participants for listening very patiently and asking relevant questions to the speakers, and entire Manage CIA team and Dr. Sarwan Dasar for allowing us to conduct this webinar. Thank you so much all.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Dr.
Thank you,
Rima and
Manage.
Ms. Monisa. It is nice to hear
Thank
you
you,
both
sir.
of you. It's really very interesting today. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.